Okay, so I have wedged, and I hope you know what it means to wedge. It means to get the air bubbles out. All right, I did that 50 times already. So this is a nice wet piece of clay. When you are ready to clean up, wet clay goes back with the wet clay bucket. Clay that's kind of leather hard or completely dry goes into the dry clay bucket to be recycled. So when I roll out a slab, which I need to do because I have to have a bottom for my vase, when you roll out a slab, you want to make sure that you have a clean area to roll out on. So move all the dry clay, and move it off to the side or in the dried clay bucket so that you have a nice, clean, flat area. Also, if you could follow me, if there's no room and you want to have a different surface to paint on or work on clay, one of these fabric covered boards can be used too. But you have to put it back when you're done. Don't leave it out. So I'm going to roll out my slab right here, and that means I need to carefully move my vase. Now that I have a vase, I need to show you how to carry your vase. You are responsible for this vase. If it falls off, it is on you. That means that don't let anybody else do this. But when you move it, you have one hand on the clay and the other hand on the board. And you move it around like this. And if it tips upside down, it's not the end of the world. If you walk around like this and somebody bumps you, it could fall off. The other thing is, I don't want to see you walking around, moving it around like this very much. It's going to warp it and not make it nice and straight. So what I'm going to do is, when I move my clay, one hand on the board, one hand on the clay, and carefully get it out of my way for the time being, not here on the edge of the table, but somewhere safe. Now I have room to roll out my next slab that we're going to use for the base, B-A-S-E, of your vase, the bottom of your vase, which is a base. So in geometry, when you're looking to find the volume of your cylinder, you have to find the area of your base. Or if you're looking to find the volume of a rectangular prism, you need to find the area of the base. So anyway, you don't have to find the area of your base. You just have to create the base. So I'm going to roll out a slab, and you know from the 6 slabs I made you roll out before that you need to make sure you have 2 of these cardboard things, slats, S-L-A-T-S, on either side, and I need to make sure that my rolling pin is resting on it. So if it's way out here, it's not doing me any good. I need to make sure that it's like a railroad track. Okay, now I'm going to roll out my slab, and you've done 6 of them, so gosh, I hope you know you got to do that, flipping frequently. And I'm going to make sure that it's the same height as my cardboard, so if I do this and I make a dent in it, I know I got a problem, but I'm not making a dent, so I must be done. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my base, and I'm going to put it on a board. Now I'm going to go and get my base, and I'm going to determine what I want as the bottom and what I want as the top. Hi, Mr. Mosley. Hi. So, depends on what I want to use for the bottom or the top. I want the prettiest one for the top because that's what you're going to see the most. So I have to determine, do I want to use that as the bottom or that as the bottom? And I'm going to go ahead and say that this is a little, I don't know. I mean, I could smooth it out, but I'm just going to use this as the base. So now I'm going to get my scoring tool. Oh, you don't want to be in my video? Scoring tool, I'm going to score the entire bottom of this. And I can slip it in a second, but I'm going to finish scoring. Notice how I go over it more than once because I need to have plenty of grooves. Then I'm going to go ahead and score the whole thing here because I don't know exactly where this will be. So I'm just going to score kind of the whole big surface, something bigger than the actual vase. And now I'm feeling like this brush is inadequate. So hopefully when you guys do this, you're going to have a bigger brush. Do not do this. That was bad. See how I poured it out? You guys won't do it that way because that's a mess. You're going to get a bigger brush so that it won't take forever. Okay, so just remember, there'll be a bigger brush, so don't you pour it out like that. because that is sloppy and could cause problems later on. So use a bigger brush. So now I got slip, score, but not necessarily in that order because you always score first, then add your slip. Then slip side to slip side. And now I want to make sure I have a level surface because I want to make sure my vase is upright. So I turn it around, make sure it's not leaning. Okay, so now my next step is to trim away the excess with any kind of tool that looks like it cuts. And remember, do not try to turn a corner. Remember when you rolled your first slabs, I said don't turn a corner? So instead, just a nice straight line. Remove the excess. Turn the board. And I don't want anyone to move their vase off this board. Once you put the vase on the base, do not move it. If I see you pick it up and move it, you're doing it wrong, okay? You're going to have a bad base. So I'm going to just kind of push this out. I guess that's not the way it's going to be. Okay, so once I trim this off, I don't want to pick my vase up again until it's dry and firm. So if I were to pick it up right now, you notice I'm just trimming off the excess. I'm not trying to turn a corner. If I try to pick it up right now, my bottom will sag. My base will sag. My bottom's already sagging, but that's neither here nor there. So I'm trimming, and I can go ahead and smooth out the bottom. I'll trim off the last little piece, and do not pick it up. It's not funny. It's not funny. Don't pick it up because you're just going to have a saggy bottom. So if you want to be a saggy bottom guy, you go right ahead and pick it up. But for the rest of us that don't want a saggy bottom, we are going to simply smooth it out at the top so that it's a nice smooth edge. We don't want like a rough edge that feels bad. So this is something that you should occasionally do, especially if you're working on this in a long period of time. So I have beveled, put together, and done the base all in one day. I would think that my students might be able to put the 6 pieces together in an hour and might have to do the base on a second day. But you can see how I'm just kind of keeping it damp so that I can smooth out the top so that when somebody, is touching it, it doesn't feel rough and ooky. It feels smooth. All right, and then I believe I'm done until it is firm enough for me to take off the board without any sagging. And then I can carve my name on the bottom. So that there is what it is.